Hello and welcome to the ME7 podcast and our first look back live of the season. The Gills unfortunately couldn't continue that perfect start in the month of August, but we are this afternoon going to look back at what has been quite an incredible month for Neil Harris's men. Yep, welcome back to the ME7 podcast, Look Back Live, the first one of the season. As you can see, joined by, as ever, by my co-host, Owen. Good afternoon, mate. How are you?
Quickly learning that timing's everything. We could have done this last week, couldn't we? But, sod's law and everything, but yeah, good. Not going to let yesterday distract from what's been a brilliant opening month.
Good. Tom Jasper,
Right.
first time on the show. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah. Again, with Owen, obviously not going to let yesterday get too on top of us, but yeah, all good.
James, you back for your second appearance?
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
No problem. Pleasure. How are you?
I'm good. I am going to let yesterday get to me. I'm positively suicidal, so, it's all good.
Wow. I don't think we're going to read any social media comments this afternoon, to be honest.
That's a good idea.
Because we're far too positive as a Gills fan base, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Good. Okay. Just a couple of things. This show, it wouldn't be happening really without obviously Nick at Block behind the camera, but obviously, of course, it also wouldn't be happening without Danny Construction, as you can see on the right hand side of the screen. Not sure what's the left hand side of the screen, and in the bottom corner, you can see Danny Construction are our sponsors for this season. Danny Construction, they basically look after groundworks, surface water drainage, duct installation, line markings and more. Daniel basically is run by a lady called Laura, and she inspires women, mothers and young people to become industry leaders while delivering outstanding services. So thank you very, very much to Daniel Construction for sponsoring today and the rest of the season as well. We've also got our charity. James, you obviously know Red Eagle Foundation very, very well.
Yep, I do.
Yeah, obviously we've partnered with them for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell us a little bit about how you know.
So Red Eagle are run by somebody I know very, very well, Dominic Cummins, and they do a really, really great work in the Kent area. And I think they're a brilliant charity for us to get behind. And I know you've got quite a lot planned with them over the season. So yeah, we're very excited to be partners with them.
Good. Okay. The dreaded bit then of the show. Let's get to yesterday. Owen, I guess we'll start with you. Give us your assessment of it.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna get too down in the dumps or too overreactive about it, but we were really, really poor yesterday. It was a bit of a continuation of what we unfortunately saw at Crawley. We got away with it that time. I think it was a case of last week we didn't play particularly well. We got a bit of luck with the penalty and we managed to hold it out. I think yesterday we didn't play particularly well. Second half in particular, I thought we were really, really poor. The worst we've been this season by far. And unfortunately, on this occasion, we didn't get away with it. And I think it was a case of Colchester came here with a much better setup than many might have thought. I think they played really, really well, to be fair to them. I think the scoreline didn't really flatter them whatsoever. I think they deserve to be significant winners on the day. I've listened to Neil's post-match interview, and he thinks we were the better team for 60 minutes or so. I'm not entirely sure I agree with that. I think the first half was a bit much of a muchness. I think they shaded it and probably should have had a penalty as well in the first half. But I can't recall us really, other than that Tim Deing header in the first 10 or so minutes, I can't recall us really doing too much of trouble. Owen Goodman in the Colchester United goal, where I always thought they looked really dangerous on the counter-attack, and then obviously the start of the second half, I think they peppered us for the majority of it. I think we had a spell the first 5 minutes maybe or so, but after that I think it was pretty much them dominating the game. They came close a few times before getting that opening goal, and as scrappy as it was, you can't deny that they deserved it on the day. And I think we not we needed a result like this, but I've said for a few weeks now it'll be interesting. And Tom, I'll bring it to you in a second because I think we had this conversation on must have been the post match for Crawley where I said it's going to be interesting to see how we react when we do go a goal behind, when we do that one in. And unfortunately, on the evidence of yesterday, the first occasion, of course, should point out the reaction wasn't quite what we would have hoped for, was it?
No, and we knew that we were going to come unstuck at some point. Not every game's going to be a 1-0 victory and we're going to, sort of scrape through it. But I think it was just a case of when, not if. We knew that the potential banana skin yesterday would have been the fact that, yes, we're top and they're bottom, but the lineups didn't really reflect that. It was just, we've been in a decent run of form and they haven't. But, we spoke after Crawley about the fact that, we would at some point need to go through and talk about the fact that we were going to lose a game or have to come back from a goal down, and it did feel very similar like to some points last season where we were kind of trying to force the goal rather than naturally be able to get the goal back. And as I said, we could have played for hours last night and just not put the ball in the back of the net. Seen many games like that before. It's not a new entity. It has happened before. So we can't dwell on it too much because if we dwell on that, we're going to go into Grimsby and Harrogate thinking, oh God, are Gillingham back again? Like recently, we've enjoyed 4 out of 5 games in the league with 4 wins. Like I would have taken that massively at that point. If you'd asked me a few weeks ago. So yeah, it was disappointing, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I agree with everything Tom says. I think you've got to take it into context. The start we've made is absolutely phenomenal, and you're quite right. If we'd all been offered that start, a few months ago, we'd have all taken it every day. But having said that, the team isn't beyond criticism, and I think yesterday was poor. There's no doubt about that. I like Owen. I'm not sure I agree with anything Neil Harris said in his post-match, but everyone's got their opinion at the end of the day. What I will say is there's been a horrendous overreaction on social media, which we touched on already. You'd think that we'd just been relegated from the reaction on certainly on Twitter last night, and I think it was evident in the stands as well. I think when the third goal went in, I had Reece Heard and I had a chat, and you could feel the toxicity in the stands, and it was pretty nasty, to be honest with you. And I think that's not something we want to be repeating too often, but it's part of the game, unfortunately, whether we like it or not. And but it wasn't great to see or feel yesterday, really. But yeah, the performance was definitely subpar. There's no doubt about that. And I think that performance probably was on the cards, as Tom said. I just wasn't expecting it to be at Priestfield, if I'm honest.
Yeah, do we expect it though? Because I don't think it's right. I don't think, to be honest, I had to stay off social media last night. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. The way people were talking about the team, Neil, the players, it was, I would say, borderline disgusting, because at the end of the day, everyone is right to have their opinion. 100%. We were not good yesterday. We were not good at all by our standards. But I think people have to take that bit of perspective of this time last year, we'd scored probably about 5 goals. We were rock bottom of the league. We couldn't buy a win. It took us until Boxing Day to get 13 points. It took us until January the 14th to get a third win. And now look at us. We're second in the league and we've lost 1 game. And you'd thought, honestly, that we'd just been relegated all over again from League One.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the modern day football fan, unfortunately, and I think that it's either the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world. And yesterday it was the worst thing in the world, and it's an overreaction, but it is a reaction that is going to happen. None of us like it, but I think it's here to stay. Unfortunately, all the time you've got these platforms that we use, for lots of good reasons. I mean, obviously we use Twitter ourselves a lot. It's great for getting our the club out there and sharing with the fans all the good things that happen. But unfortunately, it is going to be open to that other side as well. But as you rightly said, everyone's entitled to their opinion. As long as it's delivered in a reasonable way, I think we can all agree with that. But it's when it becomes unreasonable and when it becomes vitriolic and stuff that's not good. And I think we need to try.
Personal, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes I think that can happen. And you could see that starting to happen yesterday on the in the Raynham end. Like I say, when the third goal went in, there were all sorts of choice words being levelled at Mr. Harris, which is very unfair, to be honest with you, and not really what you want to hear. And swearing goes on at football, of course it does, but people got to remember there's kids around. We're trying to be a family club, and it's not really what you want to hear, to be honest with you.
I don't remember in my time a manager getting this much abuse. I don't even when Pennant was in charge, I don't remember a manager personally getting attacked like sometimes Neil does, because I don't know whether it's to do with just what went on last season or something like that. But I've sat there for years. We've sat there together for years, haven't we? And I've heard managers being criticised for the way we've played and tactics and everything else, but I've never heard our fan base go at a manager like they do, Neil, sometimes.
I think there's almost a bit of PTSD as Gills fans, to be honest with you, where from last season. I think there's still a big hangover from last season, and things went so bad to so good, literally overnight. When the Gallinsons took over, we had an injection of positivity, and it was brilliant. But literally we changed as a club overnight, and I think for some fans that may have been quite a difficult transition, and maybe there's still a bit of a hangover. So as soon as the opportunity comes along to not be wonderfully positive and not be glowing in praise and saying how wonderful everything is, perhaps people jump on that a little bit and they go a little bit overboard, and maybe that's what that is. But who knows? Who knows? The psychology of the football fan is a fascinating topic, I think, and
It's also as well, isn't it? The change in what we expect now. Neil's been quite keen to kind of quash any getting carried away, and it's going to be an unbeaten season and all that sort of stuff. But also, we as fans can't help but raise what we expect a little bit. So when it comes crashing down like yesterday seemed to do, it's almost like, oh, we're back to the old Gillingham, and jokes about a second car crash in a week. It's all done. That's all done in jest, but realistically there are comments out there that do go beyond that. And unfortunately it's hard for, especially after the game, the immediate aftermath of the game is different to the next day when there's been some more clarity. You've had time to digest everything that went on before, but in the hour or so after the final whistle, that's when it's at its worst, because it's raw, it's still fresh to people, and that's when people can't help but bite back. And that's when you have other people getting involved, and then it turns into a bit of the Royal Rumble, doesn't it? Effectively, of comments. Whereas if people all went, you know what, I'm going to give it 10 hours to go, and then I'm going to voice my opinion, it might be a whole different ballgame.
You need to consider really that no team in League Two is going to win every game. We're not going to go unbeaten for the whole season. If they were capable of doing that, they wouldn't be League Two players. It's just sometimes you look at results like, I'm just going to say today, yesterday, and then in 3 or 4 months, if we are still where we are, you might be looking back at it saying, "Do you know what? It was a bad day at the office that day, but we might have needed that to give us the, not kick up the arse, so to speak, but the signification of players who might be getting a bit overboard," which I don't think they are, and fans as well, that, it is a 9-month-long season. It's a bit like giving birth, really. Mathematically, you... No, I'm not going to go into that.
Dangerous waters.
I think you've dug yourself a big grave there and you can't get out now.
Well, the waters broke yesterday, that's for sure. But no, if these players were capable of winning every game in League Two, they wouldn't play in League Two. And, you just need to take some perspective. And it's just a case of, we've played 5 league games, we've won 4 of them. Okay, we've not been brilliant in all of them. Last week, as I said, at Crawley, we weren't particularly great, and we were, I think everyone would agree, lucky to get out of there with all 3 points. And on another day, we might have come unstuck. But a game like yesterday, when you're just beaten by a team who on the day were better than us, I know people look at cultures to think they're bottom and whatever else, but they're a good side. They're better than they've been in the first few games, and also got to counteract that with saying that they have played 1 game less than everyone else in the league, except for Swindon, who they're obviously meant to play on opening day. But I think with this group of players we've got, it's a vast improvement on last year. It's a vast improvement even on what we had in January, and there's still a lot to come. We haven't reached our peak. We've not been brilliant per se in every game. I think Accrington's been our best performance other than Southampton, and even then we still looked a bit like we weren't going to score a lot of goals, but in time it would arrive. And it's just a case of looking back at the month as we're doing now and seeing how well we've done and thinking, well, one bad result doesn't mean that all of a sudden those first 4 weeks mean nothing now. They're a good signpost of where we are. Neil's said in previous interview, I think he said after Crawley, that the start of the season we've had is going to come in handy when we do go into a rough patch, whenever that might be. Hopefully yesterday was just a one-off and we don't enter that stage yet, because I remember end of last season when Stevenage sort of limped over the line, they were having quite a few poor results. I remember they lost at Mansfield, they were drawing at home to teams they shouldn't be drawing to, but they ended up getting up in the division because of how well they started in the first place. And that's where these early results, they culminate into getting you over the line in the end. And even if we go on and maybe don't get as many points as we want from the next 2 or 3 games, it's still going to be early doors. Harris has said many times 12 games is the benchmark, and I'd agree with that. And we'll just have to see where we are. But the reaction is not a surprise, because we've seen it all before. Actually, it's probably easier to deal with last year just because it was so constant and you couldn't really disagree with anything that was being said. But I think if you're going to have that sort of energy after the defeat, you should have the same energy and praise for the manager as you do criticism when we win. And I don't think we see that enough, which is disappointing. But this is a team who are going to, in my opinion, go up this season. And
Glass,
not wood.
You touch that bit.
Much better, mate.
People can't see that. But yeah, I think it's no need for panic stations. Poor result, but I think we'll get on to now the things we should be praising this year, and that is this season. That's the first 4 games before that.
Yeah, we are going to get onto that. Just before that though, me and you had the luxury, take away the game, but we had the luxury of hospitality yesterday.
Well,
I thought it was very, very good. The food was extremely good. I'm not sure about you and your pate situation with the starter.
It, mate, yeah. It was really nice. It was really nice to be there. We were lucky enough to sit with Matt Jarvis, who obviously Jill's legend. Picture up on the wall there, actually, funnily enough. We had. I don't think we knew beforehand we were going to be on this table, did we?
No.
I think it was about 3 or 4 before us in the queue to get in, and then we saw him go to his table, and we were sat there with him and his dad, and if they're listening, not them two, the other 2 people who sat with us, I can't remember your name, but you were lovely. It was a nice experience. He spoke to us about a lot of stuff in his career, just genuine questions we asked, because as fans of Gills and fans of football fans, we wanted to ask just general questions. We asked about his England game against Ghana, asked about his time at Wolves, and remember that for the quiz later. And his time at West Ham, and it was just nice to be with him. The pate, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
Not again, but the peppercorn steak was nice.
I heard that Owen had an interesting way of eating pate, James. Is that right?
The peppercorn steak was nice.
What I will say, okay, now you have brought it up, I'm going to have to talk about it.
Fine.
A normal way of eating pate with toast and mango chutney would be putting the pate and the mango chutney on the toast and then eating it.
Everyone knows that, right?
Everyone knows that's how you do it, right? Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, Owen's not tried pate before. In your defence, you've not ate pate before. So you decided to basically eat it as if it was the steak.
I thought it was a bit of spam.
Yeah, well, there you go. You thought it was spam. So we decided to cut it on its own and just eat it on its own. The best bit, that wasn't the best bit. The best bit was Matt Jarvis turned to him and went, "What are you doing?" And Owen was just like, "I've just not eaten pate before."
I think Matt must be a seasoned pate veteran then. He must have had a lot of that in pre-match meals and that, so maybe.
Matt was, I think, quietly disappointed.
Disgusted, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
I think the premise is never meet your heroes.
Anyway, we did film a little bit, including a little chat with Matt Jarvis. Here is the hospitality video from yesterday.
There's only one other player who theoretically played for England who played for Gillingham. That was a guy called Freddie Fox, who was a goalkeeper in the 1930s. and he was a Gillingham player, but he went across to Calais and signed a contract with Millwall. And he was picked for England when he was a Gills player, but when he actually played, he was a Millwall player. However, we have with us this afternoon the one person who has played for England, who played for Gillingham and started his career basically here at Gillingham, and he is, of course, Matt Jarvis.
Forgot about doing it for that.
Right, as you can see, I'm joined by a familiar face, Matt Jarvis. Matt, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, very well.
Yeah, obviously back at Gills as part of obviously Legends Day. Yeah, firstly, first time back this season. Yeah, what have you made of it?
Obviously, always nice to come back, seeing a lot of familiar faces, which is actually really nice. But half time at the moment, it's been a bit erratic, maybe, is the first half performance, but you can see that there's a lot of quality in the side, so it's one of them that just got to settle down a little bit, I think, and then the second half is always where it works.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, we were speaking earlier on, and there's been quite a few changes over the summer for Gills, a lot to the squad, a lot off the pitch. What do you make of the football club as a whole at the moment, the way it's going?
Fantastic. You know, I've been lucky enough. I've met the owners, and they're both fantastic people. And you know, the club is only going in one direction at the moment, and it's been a fantastic start to the season. But you can see it continuing, and what their plans are and what they've already done is really impressive. So fingers crossed, it keeps going.
Yeah, obviously second half to come. Do you think Gills will turn it into 3 points?
I did say 2-0, so I'm hoping so. Yeah, otherwise my prediction's not going to go down very well.
Thank you, Matt. Cheers, mate. Welcome back to Look Back Live, episode 1, season 2. Okay, more positivity. I know.
Do we have to?
We're going to go there. We asked you all beforehand for your player of the month. James, we'll start with you first. Player of the month for August.
I've got a feeling we're all going to say the same player, but for me, it is Mr. Shadrach Oji. The first to admit, when he was signed, I was seriously underwhelmed. I was like, oh, okay. I think I tweeted meh.
Fair enough.
But that is grossly unfair. What I will say now is the guy's been a revelation, and Leyton Orient must have the best backline in the league if he can get in their team. Guy's been phenomenal. He hasn't put a foot wrong for me. Shadrach Oji, been absolutely brilliant.
Owen?
I've gone with Jake Turner. Slight difference. Shad was a very, very close second. I had Scott Maloney in third. If we're doing it in tiers, we're not. But I think Jake deserves a lot of praise because, you know, you look at last season, you have to be patient for opportunities. Glenn Ross is very much the number one for the vast majority of the season. Jake came in during cup games as part of that great night at Brentford, of course. Didn't manage to save the penalty, but I'm sure he did enough to put off Mikael Damsgaard, so we'll give him that. And yeah, this season was one where in pre-season I thought he looked really impressive, but I did have the opinion that Neil might keep it as it was. Obviously, with Morris having swept all of the awards from the end of last season, I thought Morris might have retained his place, but Jake, I thought, was brilliant in pre-season. You know, a few saves in the Dartford game, for example. I know it's not the league, but it was really impressive that day. And I felt very comfortable coming into Stockport when I saw his name on the team sheet. And Neil's obviously made a good point about having two number ones effectively now with Glenn and Jake, both good enough to start. And I think Jake's really made that position his own. I think he's made a lot of great saves throughout the course of the season so far. You know, there was one, he won't admit it, he did admit it to me when I messaged him, but I don't think he's ever been caught onto the one at Stockport where Kyle Norr hit the crossbar, if you remember that in the second half. Jake got a fingertip to it to tip it onto the crossbar and, you know, not really troubled against Accrington, but I think Crawley, he made a few really good smart stops. So the Telford penalty, but you know, you just have to guess the right way, I suppose, but it was, you still have to do that. And you know, yesterday, can't really put him at fault for any of the goals. It was, you know, calamity of errors at the back. You know, it's just is what it was on that day. And I think he deserves a lot of recognition for this season. I think it's going to continue, and I think he's got a great team around him with Darren and obviously the experience of Glenn as well. Being 40, he'll be frustrated he's not playing, but at the same time, I'm sure he'll be happy to lean his experience on Jake and make Jake a better keeper in the process. I think he's my choice for player of the month. Tom, over to you.
Yeah, I will go Shadowgi as well, I think, for me, just because there are a number of decent contenders. But I think the fact is that he was brought in as an option, not necessarily as a definite starter. He would have been good. Neil wanted a left-sided centre half, and he kind of obviously got one with him, and he must have been scouted really, really well because Kenny knew him from his time at Orient as well. But I think the fact that he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet right now shows that he has maybe surprised a few of us. Not a lot of people knew him, and when he rocked up at the game on Tuesday night, he was kind of just like, oh, by the way, he's signing. Here he is. No big kind of announcements. No social media outbursts about it. It was just like, oh, by the way, he's our new player. And then he turns out to be probably our most consistent performer. I think he was man of the match yesterday. Stood out for me, and I know the sponsors gave it to Sean Williams, but for me, he's been the most consistent performer. And we were saying yesterday, he could be, if he carries on having a good season like he is now, he could be a real asset, for us, either for us or if somebody else wants to take him, So I'd say him over the last few games.
Okay, I'm going to go someone completely different. I'm going to go Ashley Nadesan. Just because I think when we signed him, everyone was sort of, oh, really?
Meh?
Yeah. No, they were. They were, weren't they? They were very meh. He's not the forward we expect. But for me, the times that I've supported Gilles, he is that type of striker that I fall in love with because he will just chase absolutely everything. There was 3 or 4 times yesterday afternoon where it was just a nothing ball and he makes something out of it. Not only did he then I thought he made the impact, and one of the reasons why we won the game at Stockport when he come off the bench. He got the winner at home to Accrington, and I thought he tore Sutton apart on the Tuesday night. And I know, obviously, Shadowgi and Scott Malone and Jake Turner and those type of players will get their recognition, but I don't think we beat Accrington and Sutton without Ashley, in all honesty. And I think after the comments and things like that he's got off the Crawley fans and the Gilles fans of, well, you're not the 25-goal striker we've asked for, I think he's made a real difference to this Gilles side for me. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
No, I agree. And I think a lot of people did kind of think, well, he's just going to be, he's not our answer. But then again, you don't get 25-goal season strikers for cheap, and they're not just waiting to sign for you. So he had to be scouted. He had to be picked out. Harris said that he liked him. Hess said that he liked him, and we probably got him quite cheap as well. I think Sutton were rumoured to be paying like 15 grand for him. So yeah, again another wagging masterstroke there a little bit, but he's got a lot of potential. He is fast. You saw him bombing down after Dieng's ball through, didn't you, yesterday? Like he's overtaken their last defender. Like he's got attributes there, but we just need to have the service behind him. That I think is our issue that we'll go on to probably later on. But with the right service, that guy can get a lot of goals for us.
He's the most deceptively quick-looking footballer I've ever seen. He doesn't look like he's going to be fast when you look at him as his frame and his build, but he is rapid, isn't he? He really, really is. And I think that the goal against was it Accrington when he went on the Tom Nichols through ball?
Yeah,
that was purely made by his pace. That goal, and he is really, really fast. And yeah, he's been great. And I thought he was a bit below par yesterday, if I'm honest, but then pretty much everyone else was, so I'm not going to hold that against him.
And the Sutton goal, I just think his movement inside the box where Tom Nichols picks it up on the right, and he just takes one step.
It was like the Southampton goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just takes one step to his right, and the defender doesn't know where he is, and it's a natural finish.
Could be a very Cody-like striker, couldn't it? And Cody remains my all-time favourite Gilles player.
Well, I remember a Crawley fan stopping me outside the ground. Had no idea who he was, and it was before the game, and he decided to tell me that Crawley weren't going to miss Ashley Nadesan. I honestly think they might have beaten us that afternoon had Ashley Nadesan been in their team.
Yeah. They must have had some forward line before Wagme decided to do all this stuff. Telford, Nadesan and Nichols is pretty good. So
It's not bad, is
They
it?
probably would have been better off if they played all three of them at centre half yesterday.
they would have been.
It's interesting you said about the fee they pay for him. That's something I want to see. To see the Welcome to Wrexham film. I'd love to watch a Welcome to Wagme documentary, just to know what the mindset is there, because they've sold. I know this is a bit off topic, but they've sold obviously Nichols to us, Nadesan to us, Telford's gone to Barrow,
Morris to us.
Morris to us. Yeah,
Well, the fact that Morris was released, you know, he was, you know. Yeah. But I think even Telford, I think he's their highest earner, so he must have been like, get him off the wage books. So
all that for one real right. That's a good deal.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's your final ones then. Okay. So we have tweeted it up on our Twitter account. We've put the four that we've gone with. I know you two went with Shadowgy, you went with Jake Turner. I put Ashley Nadesan in there. The other one I've put in there is Scott Malone. I think he's probably the other one that stood out.
I'd agree.
Are we in agreement on that?
Yeah, I think it's not overlooked per se, Scott Malone. I think everyone just has the understanding that he is a level above this division anyway. So sort of like you have higher expectations, if you like. So if it was say David Totondo has put in performances like Scott Malone has been this season, you take a lot of notice of it. But whether it is Scott Malone and he is above League Two quality, you come to sort of expect it. But still, he's been brilliant.
What are you saying about Dave?
I'm saying he's better.
He's a lot better.
I can't wait for Morgan at home though. He's like blinder, isn't he? Like,
We're waiting for it, aren't we? Yeah. We're waiting for it. We've already had
Love Dave.
we've already had 26 votes, and Shadowgee's 96%. So
are they all him?
huh?
Are they all
it
Shadow?
might be. It might just be him. Different Twitter accounts, just him voting. Okay, we're going to go to our next break then. Obviously, the man behind the camera is obviously Nick from Block. You would have seen earlier this season. We've not had a chance to say well done to him on camera, so we're going to say it because he's our friend. So well done to Nick, because he is obviously, it was announced in the summer that him and Block are the official media partners of Gillingham Football Club, and he did announce on his Twitter account the other day that they're going to be doing a behind the scenes sort of documentary video at Crew Away on Tuesday the 3rd of October. Is that right? That's the right date. There we go. It's definitely going to be better than the Wrexham documentary. 100%. So it's called Massive. Is that right? Yeah, that's the documentary. That's the name, Massive. So look out for that. But yeah, here is a little advert for Block just to promote them. Right, let's get on to the month of August then. It was so nearly a perfect month. But we ruined it yesterday. Let's go right back to the beginning then. Stockport first game of the season, the fixtures come out and we went, I'm glad it's the first game of the season. I think that was all our reaction. But what a great result, Tom.
yeah, and I think most Jaws fans would have told you, we'll take a draw on the first game. Don't lose it. Don't set your stall out and then be bottom of the league on the first game, because as much as it is a first game, you always want to start off well. But to kind of go there and not, how we went to Stockport last season, part of the bus, and Neil admitted that bus was parked from like minute one. It wasn't like that this time. It wasn't like we set up to nick a point. We set up and we thought, hang on a minute, we can win this. And we did, and then we decided that 1-0 suited us really, really well, and then we did it like 3 more times in the league. Obviously, Southampton in between was really nice to sort of have that you know giant killing, if you like, because we've been on the end of a few ourselves before. But going back to Stockport, it's really important that we started well, that we weren't turned over, and we went above that and took 3 points away. And, you know, Stockport were a lot of people's fancied teams. You know, they're my fancied team to win the league at the start of the season, and, you know, we're still a long way away. But to go there and get 3 points from them was a nice confidence boost to know that we had a really, really good start to this season.
Yeah, I went up to Stockport. It was a very, very good day. We played very well for the first 20, 25 minutes. We imposed ourselves on. It's hard to think of a game that was a month ago now, Toby Red. We imposed ourselves really well on them from what I can remember. Stockport notoriously don't start the season very well. I think they've got a horrible opening day record of the past 4 or 5 years, including go back into the National League as well. But I think we played really well that day. I think we soaked up pressure when we needed to. Stockport, as you'd expect, last 20 minutes or so of the first half, and certainly the vast majority, if we're being fair, of the second had a lot of the ball and a lot of good areas, but failed to really create anything clear cut. It was a lot of catching practice for Jake Turner, lots of, not last hits defending, but sort of blocks and clearances you'd expect us to make in those scenarios. But regardless of that, I think the second half we probably had the best couple of chances. Before we obviously got the goal, Scott Malone had a shot that was well saved down at his bottom left post by Hinchliffe, and I think we had opportunities in the game. I think it was petering towards a 0-0 by the end of it. I didn't think we were looking any time likely to concede, but also at the same time, you know, the mindset of if you're at Stockport, whether the manager's going to think, well, we'll just opening day get out of here, have a point and take and go home, which I think people would have been happy with. Obviously, we did get the moment with Robin McKenzie's goal, and you know, I think on the basis of the game, we probably deserved to win it on the basis of how well we defended, and we took our main chance when it happened. So it was, you know, a great way to start the season. A very long journey back, but made a lot better by getting the 3 points on the day. And you know, it was, yeah, 2 good things for me. Is one, it's an opening day win, and 2, it takes away probably the toughest away fixture you're going to have this season right off the bat, and take 3 points away from it. So yeah, wonderful start.
James, we'll move on then to obviously the Southampton game on a Tuesday night. I couldn't quite make it, but the reports that sort of come out is that it could have easily been even more that evening. So
it was superb. The most complete Gilles performance I can remember in a long, long time. I thought we looked comfortable from kickoff, and we were all over them. It's not unfair to say that we could have been out of sight by half time. We just looked so good, and some players came in. Jaden Clark in particular looked phenomenal in that game. Ethan Coleman played really well. It was just a complete performance, and obviously that was Nadesan started off the scoring as well in that game. Then the goal machine himself, Robin McKenzie, took over, and it was just brilliant. It was really good, and a really nice atmosphere at Priestfield. First game under the lights with the new advertising boards as well. It looked really, although they didn't always work brilliantly done that night, but they looked great. And it was just a really, really good performance. And I think we made a few people sit up and take notice that night. To be honest with you, it was the shock of the round, wasn't it? And I think we looked brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I think that has really set the bar. That performance has really set the bar for Gilles this season, and maybe has contributed to why perhaps opinion's been a little bit negative despite us winning the next few games. You know, why perhaps opinion hasn't been as positive, because we haven't managed to yet replicate that sort of performance yet.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think you're right. Obviously, next few games after that, it was Accrington and then Sutton. Yeah. Obviously, back-to-back wins after, and then Crawley. So yeah, 3 wins in a row. But yeah, the Accrington game again dominated from minute one.
Yeah, we did, and it was quite nice to obviously, you know, every football fan will look at a 1-0 and go, "Oh, you've scraped through that one." But realistically, Accrington, we didn't. We were more dangerous, but we just couldn't finish everything that we, you know, set up. But yeah, we look good. Accrington, you've got to remember, have come down from League One, so they're not as if they're struggling. I mean, their recruitment hasn't been great, I think, in the summer, and I think a lot of people have talked about, you know, is this their level? But we were comfortable in that game, and Neil said that we kind of, you know, we bossed it for the majority, and we did. It's always nice to go and get more than one goal, because you know that Gill's teams in the past have kind of just, you know, it only takes one mistake, doesn't it, to then change everything completely, and then you've got to try and chase again. But that will come. We will turn over a team at some point this season by 2, 3, 4 goals, and you know the 1-0s will seem even more, you know, irrelevant, you know, because we still got the 3 points. So that's the end of it. That's what means the most at the end of the season. So.
Yeah, obviously, Crawley. Then, I didn't think we played the best all afternoon against Crawley, but I guess sometimes good sides find a way of winning games.
Yeah, Crawley was a frustrating one, to be honest. We didn't start the game at all, really. Gave away a dubious penalty, but probably a penalty that was a penalty if you look at all the rules and whatever else. We don't have the beauty of VAR and things like that, but you know, those are sort of one specific ref will give it, another one probably won't. But you know, we got away with it by Dom Telford putting the ball right into Jake Turner's hands, his last meaningful contribution for Crawley, so thank him for that. But no, it's just it was a game where we didn't create much at all. You know, we were pretty slack in possession as well, and I think it wasn't too dissimilar to what we saw yesterday, to be honest. I think yesterday we just got punished a lot more heavily for it, and we had to get a bit of luck. It was a great move by Shad down the left-hand side, you know, to take on his man as a centre-back, which probably helped him, because I'm sure his marker at the time, whoever was up against him, probably didn't expect him to do that as a centre-half. You expect him to just play the ball back to someone more attack-minded or midfielder who can get the ball in, but Shad went alone, and you know, it's one of those positions where for the Crawley defender, it's either get a touch on it and hope it doesn't end up in your own net, or let the person behind you have a tap in. So, you know, he has to make contact with it, unfortunately for him, but fortunately for us, it went in the back of his own net. But I think second half of that game, we, again, didn't have much going forward. We had that one chance with Naderson, who hit the underside of the bar from a set piece, I believe it was. But other than that, there's a lot of quality possession in dangerous areas. But again, much like Stockport, didn't really create anything clear cut, so to speak. I think there was a chance maybe first 5-10 minutes of the second half. I think it was Arisi or Rusi, whatever his name is, and he didn't quite connect with it well enough. But it wasn't a game which, I think won't be in the highlight reel for very long. I'd say is the best way of putting it, but we got the result.
Okay. We've obviously spoken about yesterday, so I don't think
let's leave it there, shall we?
We'll leave it there. Okay, right. A little bit different what we're going to do this season. We're going to bring a bit more of a fun element to it. Okay. So I've come up with a game. All right. Owen's come up with a quiz. All right. To end sort of today's show. Okay. So the game what I've come up with is a game called Liar. All right. So basically the rules is that I'm going to ask a question. So the first question is that how many of the squad can you name from the 1999-2000 game against Wigan? Okay. You're stuck, aren't you?
Was he even born then?
All right.
I was one.
Do research.
The squad or the first 11?
The squad.
The squad.
Okay. Basically, the rules is that you have got to you say how many you name. All right. Whoever's going to go more than what you can name has to sit there and name. So, for example, Tom, if you say I can name 12, okay, and it's more than you and more than you, you've got to name more than 12. Oh, you have to name 12 at least.
Is there
you can't stick to what your
if you can't, the other two get a point.
Is there another question after this one?
Yes.
Good.
There is. Okay. Okay, so the first question is, how many of the squad can you name from the 1999-2000 Wigan game, the playoff final? All right. James, how many do you think you can name?
Oh, this is right in my wheelhouse. It's right in my era. So I'm going to go really low. No, I reckon I can. 10.
Okay. Owen?
Make an iron name. 5. Maybe.
So do I have to try and go above James now?
If you think you can name more than 10.
I'll go for it. 11.
All right, then. Go.
All right. Wigan, yeah?
Yep.
Asaba.
Yep.
Odura.
Yep.
Gooden.
Yep.
Lewis. Julia
Yep.
Lewis. Edge.
Yep.
Southall.
Yep.
Heston Tyler.
Yep.
Smith.
Yep.
Pennock.
Yep.
Butters.
Yep.
Ashby.
Yep.
How many more?
One more. We'll have to bring a countdown, I think.
Hold on.
I love
10.
this.
Have I said Patterson yet?
No. It wasn't in it, though.
Oh.
You're missing the most two obvious players ever.
Oh, of course. I am.
9, 8.
Steve Butler.
Seven.
Andy Thompson.
There we
go.
go.
It's behind you. Okay. All right. How many strikers can you name that have played for the Gills?
Whatever.
Yep.
Oh, crikey.
There's been some shockers as well, aren't there?
There have.
Just gonna...
All right, I'm going to go high on this.
Yeah?
I'm going to go 15.
Okay.
20.
25.
Oh! Go on, then,
You've
Tom.
got every striker there.
Go on, then, Tom.
26.
You think you can name 26?
Someone's got to keep count of it, though.
I'll keep count. I ain't getting 27, so go for it.
You're going to keep
I'll
counting?
keep count, yeah.
Go on.
What are we?
You can get higher than 26?
Yeah.
Go on, then, how many?
30.
31.
It's not an auction, by the way. You know?
Are we allowed to sort of like, if we think one of them's not a striker technically, can we try and...
What, like an attacking midfielder?
Yeah,
Right,
we can be the judges.
Okay.
All right, Owen, go ahead.
How long have I got?
Minute. Go.
Lewis Walker. Simeon Jackson.
Right, I'm chiming in straight away.
Cody McDonald. Mark McCammon. Andy Thompson. How many bad ones have we had? Reece Murphy. It's very niche. Tom Eves. Iffy and Aura. Bob Taylor. Let's calm down a bit, shall we? God, we've had so many rubbish ones. Leroy Griffiths. Delroy Facey. Bass Savage. Danny Graham.
David Graham.
Is that his name? Oh. God, so many bad ones. Tom Dixon Peters.
Ooh.
So many bad. Oh, talking bad ones. Scott Cashgit, Mika Mandron, Aidan O'Brien, Tom Nichols, Ollie Hawkins. I haven't even thought of the ones we have. Macaulay Bonn, Ashley Naderson. How many am I on? 20. How long have I got?
20 seconds.
Shit.
Get 10 more.
Get 10.
Gary Mulligan.
Gary Mulligan.
Don't help him.
He needs it. He went for Reece Murphy. He needs the
He
help.
put me off. Gary Mulligan's makes me think of Lee Clifton.
Cody McDonald.
Cody McDonald. Music's putting me off.
6,
Make it stop.
5, 4, 3,
Got in the Dumboon
2,
Stungu.
1. Point.
Thank
Unlucky.
you.
Right.
That weren't bad.
It wasn't bad.
That was
Good.
very
It was good.
impressive, actually.
It was very impressive, actually.
That's savage.
21.
22, I think.
22. You got 22. Not bad.
Got in the Dumboon Stungu. What bloke.
Did you even say Cody McDonald?
No.
Marlon King?
Saba and Taylor. Oh, no,
Ge-
you said Taylor.
Gia
Oh, yeah.
It shows you like what selective Jules moments.
Tommy Johnson?
I said that. It shows you like weird Jules moments stay in your head. Though. Like Leroy Griffiths was thought. I remember watching in like 2007. You had the ITV highlight show. He scored like the third goal against Nottingham Forest, I think.
It was a screamer,
And
wasn't it?
Adam Miller scored in that game.
Simeon Jackson?
And Darren Byfield scored the first goal I ever saw at
Darren
Jules.
Byfield.
They didn't even
Okay.
think so.
How many, next round, how many managers can you name?
20.
Higher.
How many can you name?
I'd say there's like, I can't name 20. I'd name about 12.
I don't think I can beat it. I would love to say I could, but realistically, I'll be going probably a lot less.
Can't beat it?
No.
No, okay. Right, ready?
Go. Keith Peacock. Steve Lovell. Mike Flanagan. Adi Pennock. Andy Hessenthaler. Mark Stimson. Ronnie Jepson. Stan Turnant. Neil Harris. I'm not going to get 20, am I? Damien Richardson. What's that, 10?
Yeah.
Jerry Summers.
Yeah.
Missing some really obvious ones. Mark Patterson, part of the Gang of Four.
Yeah, give you that one.
Fat.
Tony Pulis. Mr. Steve Evans. Peter Taylor. Paul Taylor. Glenn Roder.
He's close, isn't he?
Oh, man.
No longer with us, unfortunately.
No, Glenn Roder's not. Who
else? So the other
Scottish
manager's
guy.
no longer with us. As in passed away, unfortunately.
yeah. Oh, Justin Imbra.
I was thinking about another one. Scottish guy.
Neil Cooper.
You know what, James? You can have it.
It's got
You can have the point.
very
You
You can have it.
shit.
I can't
have
think
it.
of many
You
others
can have it.
that you missed out.
Roddy Jepson.
Okay.
No, did he?
Last question. How many of the squad can you name from the 2009 promotion winning squad under Mark Stimson at Wembley?
How many are in a squad?
18.
Do you mean the team that that's played in that game, or just in general?
Just the squad that went to Wembley.
15.
Yeah, 15, I reckon.
I can't get anywhere near that.
No?
Give it a bash.
16.
You reckon you're going to give it a go? Do you reckon you're going to get more than 16?
I'll take him on.
Hmm?
I'll take him on.
What, you reckon you're going to go 17?
Why not? Can he go the full 18?
I think so, yeah. 18.
Yeah? Got him?
Weirdly enough, I have a very vivid memory of the subs, not the starting.
Right, go on in.
Simon Royce, and then we would have had Barry Fuller, Gary Richards, next to Simon King, then John Nutter, Curtis Weston, Stuart Lewis, Bartram, Jackson, Ollie played. I'm missing one midfielder, but come back to it. Adam Miller, Albert Jarrett was on the bench, Nicky Southall was on the bench, Mark Bentley was on the bench, Adam Julian was on the bench. So there's another, I've got loads of time. So there's another midfielder who started who I haven't named. And there's, one more substitute? Must be.
This
Two
is
more,
impre-
sir?
it's
Two more.
impressive.
Yeah.
2 more substitutes.
The midfielder was very, very important.
At the corner.
Oh, just right. He started. More, you know. Then there's one more sub he probably didn't play. I think the subs, the ones I've already said. So Albert Jarrett was probably the most anomaly one. Mark McCammon. He was on the bench.
Yeah.
I didn't say him though.
No, you don't.
You got one more, I think.
Got one more.
I don't know the whole squad.
That's not 18.
Do we have 18 though? Because sometimes you don't fill the whole of your bench.
We definitely did that day. But you know what? Because you've done
You
so
gotta have that,
impressively,
yeah.
you can have the point.
Who did I miss then?
Fish was
No.
He
no.
would have been there, would he?
Quick VAR.
Yeah. Right, okay. Anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to go to a quick break. Okay. Well done to the football club for smashing the season ticket sales. Well done to the fan base, should we say. Well done to the fan base. Well done to everyone at Gills for, I think the record is 3,500. That was the record. I don't know what it is statistically. I'm sure someone can tell me what we've actually currently sold. But we've smashed it. Here is the wonderful video that
I
Nick
named
put
two
together.
more that weren't even in the squad.
Up the Jills!
Up the Jills.
Up the Jills! Up the Jills! Up the Jills. Up the Jills!
Welcome back. Yeah, don't be surprised. The player of the month for August from the ME7 podcast is.
Is it Mr. Shad?
It's not Ashley Naderson, Nick. It's not Ashley
Yeah,
Naderson.
I believe it's Shad OG, is it?
It is Shad Ogie. Okay. Well done, Shad. Fully deserved. Unfortunately, Nick. Hang on. I'll tell you how many votes he got. Should I, Ashley Naderson?
1.
He got obviously a vote from you. All in all, we got 83 votes in 25 minutes. Pretty good going, to be fair. Ashley Naderson finished second. He finished second out of the 4. So there you go. I was right in my opinion. Okay. So I'm happy about that. I mean, you've got a quiz, have you?
I do have a quiz.
Ready?
It's split into two. Hold on a minute. Jesus. It's
Is
split.
it easier than the last one?
It's split into 2 sections. So, firstly, the way it's going to work this season is we're going to have a leaderboard throughout the season of guests who are going to total up their amount that they get in the quiz, and then by the end of the season, there's going to be one eventual winner. So we'll see who that is. But the first participants today, what's your name? Where'd you come from?
I'm James, and I'm from Dover.
What's your name? Where'd you come from?
I'm James. I'm from, should I say Chatham? Yeah, I'll go Chatham then.
What's your name? Where'd you
blind
come
date,
from? So
isn't it?
on to the quiz. So I split into 2 sections, right? So the first 5 questions are all based on the first 5 games of the season, but the last 5 are career paths. So it's going to be names of teams. You have to connect it to which former Jill it is. The clue is that none of them currently play for us, because that'd be easy, because people would just be, who did we sign this player from? Easy. But yeah, if you all have your notes pages available on your mobile or tablet device, I'm going to say the question. After 10 seconds, you all show me the answer that you put. If you get it right, you get a point. Pretty simple going.
This is very organised. Nick is very impressed behind the camera.
If you get it right, you get a point. It's not rocket science. But simplicity wins. Are you all ready with your notes pages at hand?
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Right. I've got to explain this one because I wrote it out and even I don't understand how I wrote it. But good start.
Good luck, everybody.
So, of the players that were here last season, how many of them have changed their squad number?
Oh my God.
This is only play. I'm not talking about, say, Max Clark, who's taken a number from David Sonda. I'm talking about players who had a different number last year to the one they now have.
Okay.
You don't have to name the players. Have we got answers?
Yes.
James, you got an answer? Tom, you got an answer?
Roughly, yes.
Tom, firstly, reveal yourself. What you answer?
Well, yeah. I've gone for 6.
I'm glad to see proof.
Well, I've got 5 of them down so far, but you did stop me short.
Okay.
So I'll go for 5 then that I've actually got.
James?
I've gone for 4.
James?
I've gone with 2.
So out of interest, who do you think that your 5
Well,
are?
the 5 that I know, so Masterson's now got 4, Lapsky's gone 7, Nichols to 9, Jeffries to 11, and Hawkins to 12. But I've not got any more yet.
James?
That's me wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot about all them players. To be fair, so no.
No.
Tom Jasper has got it spot on.
Oh.
And all 5 as well.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Didn't know we were professionals in here today. God
I don't know
dear.
where they are.
I'll walk out now, should I?
This one's a bit more easier, I think. I hope. Who are the only 3 players to play every minute of the League 2 campaign so far this season? So it's League 2. We're not counting the Carabao game. 3 players. Feel we need background music when we do this.
Yeah.
The wheel. The wheel. Right. Tom, have you got an answer?
Yes.
Reveal.
Do you need me to show you the answer?
Yes.
Turner, Ogie, Aimer.
James?
Same 3 for me.
Other James?
I've gone Oggy Malone aimer.
No, Malone was substituted at Stockport for Max Clark. It is Aimer, Ogie and Turner.
No. Wow.
So that currently means Tom Jasper, 2 points. James Cleal,
Yep.
1 point.
It won't go. No.
James
We won't say
Hawk-
anything. We won't say anything. Don't worry.
James Hawkins in the mud. This one, another very easy one. I missed out this bit of a description when we were talking about it earlier, but which minute did Robin McKenzie score the winner at Stockport?
Oh, I think I know this.
I'm relying on Nick to keep me up to date with scores as he is in the background. Have we all got an answer?
Yeah, I think so.
Has anyone got a Sky Sports tab open?
No.
Good. Tom Jasper, what are you saying?
86.
James Hawkins.
94. I think it's later than that, isn't it?
Could tell you didn't go. James?
I've got 83.
The correct answer is 86.
86.
94.
I thought we scored right in stoppage time.
No, we scored and then we had about 11 minutes of stoppage.
Go through that one.
But Tom Jasper is
Flying.
right on it.
I told you I love a quiz.
He's flying. James Hawkins has crashed.
Can we not talk about crashes this week?
Into a wall somewhere.
James Cleal's lost one of the wings, but it's just about to float. Okay. Question 4 has now changed since yesterday, and I'll explain why if you don't understand the answer. But who has the highest culmination of cards so far this season? It's the culmination of cards.
Can you explain the question?
Basically,
I can't
what
really.
does combination mean? So I'm guessing who has accrued, big word
Yes.
here, the most cards.
The most worth of cards. Put it that way.
Who got carded yesterday? That's the thing.
I'll explain how the answer works afterwards.
As in booking points like Sky Bet.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, it's all that done. I don't understand betting.
Take a hunch
Hmm.
on a player.
Got it?
I think so.
I think I've got it.
Tom,
I've put Ethan Coleman down.
James,
I've got Ethan Coleman.
So have I.
it is Ethan Coleman.
Was it a culmination? Is that what you've done? Is that like a play on words?
No, it wasn't.
I've got a point. Yes.
So the way it works for anyone who doesn't use betting points, and neither should you because betting is bad and we don't condone it on this podcast, although Josh Cullen's booking for Burnley has helped me out today for unreal.
Brilliant.
So the way it
Unofficial.
works is for a yellow card you get 10 booking points, for a red you get 20. So Shad Ogie has 3 yellow cards which culminate to 30 points, whereas Ethan Coleman has 2 yellows and a red, therefore he's on 40. So Ethan Coleman, although it may get rescinded, so maybe Shad Ogie is the right answer if that is to happen. But regardless of that, I told you to keep an eye on one of the questions I asked earlier regarding Matt Jarvis. And if you were listening to the point I pointed out, you should be able to tell me which club Matt Jarvis and Scott Malone both played for at the same time.
Well, this is a bit of a... Because he told me this yesterday.
Yeah, but you're not winning anyway. Tom?
I believe Scott Malone started at Wolves.
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 Wolves is the correct answer, which means that the halfway point the scores on the doors are 5 for Tom Jasper, he's flying. 3 for James Cleal, he's doing okay. James Hawkins on 2 points.
I'm happy to get 2 points, to be honest. It's too much of a tough quiz. I'm not happy.
You got 1 less point than Macaulay Bond. Too soon, maybe.
He was watching.
Hi, Macaulay.
He parks where he wants.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Okay, so the final 5 questions are now career path questions. So I'm going to name you teams that this player has played for. I will take time, not too much time, but I will take time saying the teams if you want to write them down on your notes page just to check them with yourself
Let's have a look.
in case you forget. This first player has a lot of clubs, so I'm going to cut out the first few because irrelevance. And then move on closely to when they started playing at Gills. So are you ready for your first player?
Yep.
Okay, so he played for Brentford between 2004 and 2005, making 40 appearances. Followed up by a year at Rotherham United between 2005 and 2006. Then a 3-year spell at Sheffield Wednesday between 2006 and 2009. A loan move to Charlton in 2008, which became permanent, and he stayed there until 2010. Then he played for Gabala, no idea, between 2010 and 2012, before joining Gills in 2012 to 2013. And since then, I won't give you the dates after that, but he had spells at Scunthorpe, York, Eastleigh, Brackley, before retiring at Worcester City.
Yeah. Got it.
James looks incredibly confused.
Puzzled, didn't he?
And I can't believe
Does anyone want me to go through the teams again?
No.
I can't believe the team that got me the answer was the last one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
James, I'll go with you first because you look the most puzzled.
I don't think it's right, but I'm going for Andy Barcham. But no, it's not.
Dion Burton.
Dion Burton.
I'm going to go Danny Chapman.
One of you is right. Funny enough, I don't remember Andy Barcham's spell at Portsmouth in 1994, but you never know. So James has gone for Danny Chapman, which has proved to be an excellent choice if he was right,
Yeah.
which he wasn't.
Oh.
The answer is Dion Burton.
Is it?
Well
Dion
done, Tom.
Burton.
I think they're like Azerbaijan or something like that he went to. Somewhere crazy, and then we took him.
He also, if you anyone of you remember, he scored in one of the goals when Gills drew 2-2 with Charlton at the Valley when Andy Barcham scored and Dennis Ollie scored.
All right, yeah.
Year after the Wembley win. Bit of Eustace trivia for you. Okay, the next player we're going to go for started his career at Oldham Athletic in 2009 and then in 2010, followed by a 6-year stint with only 4 appearances, a lot of loans involved in this, at Bolton Wanderers. Those loans included Bristol Rovers, Shrewsbury Town, Rotherham United, Shrewsbury Town again on loan, then Yeovil on loan, Bury on loan. Then this is all after that spell at Bolton that ended in 2016. I moved to Yeovil permanently for a year before 2 years at Gills between 2017 and 2019, and he has since been at Hull City and Rotherham United.
Oh, right, yeah.
That should do it, shouldn't it?
I'm just going to stop it after they play for Gills, because I don't think that would have been as obvious otherwise. Have we got an answer, everyone?
I think it's, yeah, I
Yes.
don't know if it's the right answer, but I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Tom Eaves.
Tom Eaves.
Tom Eaves.
It's a hat trick. Tom Eaves is correct. That was a bit easy, wasn't it, in hindsight? This one isn't.
Good.
Started his I'm not him. He started his career in 1991 until 1997 with Manchester City, before a long spell at West Ham United between 1997 to 2005, and then moved to Queen's Park Rangers between 2005 and 2007, before 1 year at Gills with 8 appearances between 2007 and 2008, before retiring in 2010 after a year at St Neots Town. St Neots
St.
Town.
Neots. I've got it.
What was the years?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
1991 to 97 with Manchester City, 97 to 2005 with West Ham, 2005 to 2007 with QPR, 7 to 8 with Gills, and then 9 to 10 with St Neots Town.
Not a clue. Absolutely no idea.
Do you want to take a punt? I'll go for you. Go for your answer first.
No, I've not got an answer.
You got to take a punt.
It's not actually in Haddison, Nick.
just take a punt at one player between 2007 and 8 for Gills.
So that would have been before Stimpson.
No, it would have been his first year, I think, because we got relegated in 08 at Leeds, didn't we?
Around that time, yeah. We bought a lot of
God.
drosses, didn't we?
Cool. No clue. No, absolutely no idea. I've got.
Are you DNFing for this
I'm
round?
DNFing.
Great. James Cleal.
Mr. Steve Lomas.
Tom
Really
Jasper.
awful Steve Lomas.
Steve Lomas.
Oh, wow.
Who, bit of trivia, Wikipedia tells me he was born in Hanover, West Germany,
Well, there you go.
but represented Northern Ireland
Every day's
at
a school day.
international
I've
level.
learnt things.
I thought people might be a bit more interested in that, but don't mind. The next player was at Nottingham Forest between 2005 and 2008, before a loan move in 2006 to 7 to Northwich Victoria, who, another bit of trivia, knocked out Charlton in the FA Cup in 2009. Then loan moves to Halifax Town in 2007, then to Gillingham in 2007, and then after that played for Chesterfield, Notts County, MK Dons, all on loan, before moving to Young Boys, Hertha Berlin, and ending his career at Rot-Weiss Essen. Not Jake Essen, Rot-Weiss Essen.
Love this one. Potentially.
I think I've got it.
James?
I don't think I've got it. I'm just going to go Delaware Facey.
I think he did play for Nottingham Forest, but it's not him.
Is it Mr. Felix Bastian?
It is, yeah. Felix Bastian.
Felix Bastians.
Yeah.
What did I say to you on the way back
I know.
yesterday? Because I didn't think you were playing. I went, I'm going to do one on Felix Bastians.
Didn't even listen
We
to
not
you.
listening.
Shows how much I listen to you, didn't it? Last one, is it?
It is the last one. This is an older player. Played 70 appearances for the well-acclaimed Champions League club Haybridge Swifts between 1989 and 1991, before 7 years at Southend United between 1991 and 1998. Then between 98 and 2000, he played for Charlton Athletic. 2000, 2003, Leicester City, before loan moves to Brighton between 2001 and 2, Manchester City in 2002, and then also QPR in 2002 to 2003. Then Charlton Athletic, Luton Town, QPR again permanently. Then an initial loan move to Gillingham before 3 years with the Gills between 2007 and 2010. Then a spell at Brentford in 2010 to 2011.
I had an idea for this, and then it went wrong. Yeah.
Well, I had Paul Konchesky,
No,
but
How long
It's
at Jules?
not that.
3 years at Jules?
3 years, yeah. Paul Chesky between 2007 for Gills.
no.
About 10 years early.
When was he at Gills again?
He was at Gills between 2007 and 2010.
So he would have been in that promotion winning squad.
Maybe.
Do you
Did you
Promotion
mention
in the
Brentford
squad.
in there at all?
Yes,
Mention Brentford.
after Gills. He was at Brentford.
No idea. Go on, Tom.
The guess is Mark McCann.
Incorrect. James, have you got a guess?
No.
No.
James?
No.
Was he mentioned in that 09-10 question that you had earlier?
Well, he should have been.
I can give you a better clue than that.
Oh,
So-
it is.
Oh.
Simon Rice.
Right.
My big clue, it didn't include it because technically he didn't make an appearance. But he was re-signed for one game against Oxford away in 2009-20 season as cover, but he didn't actually get on the pitch. Technically, it isn't an appearance.
I was waiting for you to say Southend. Didn't he play for Southend?
He was on there, yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, but that was earlier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the scores on the doors at the end of the quiz are Tom Jasper with 10 out of 10. Well, actually 9 out of 10 because
Yeah, you don't have that one. It's fine.
No, that's it.
not it.
Yeah.
Pick it. James Cleal has 5. James Hawkins has 3.
I'm not taking part again.
So the early leaderboard for the ME7 2023-24 campaign has Tom Jasper at the top on 10 points.
Well played, sir.
James Cleal
Thank
close
you.
second, and James Hawkins at bottom of the table. As it stands, but I hope everyone enjoyed that. Everyone watching at home got involved. Some terrible shouts in there, must admit.
Yeah.
But
That's why I started as a presenter, and that's it.
I did all right.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. It's fine. More knowledgeable than me. Okay.
That's true.
We've had a couple of questions, but we'll leave the couple of questions for Matt Olsen for his breakfast show tomorrow morning. As we're going to round up this afternoon, Gents, thank you ever so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Enjoyed it?
Yeah, really good, really good.
Yeah.
Can I come back so I can keep my lead?
Can you come back later on in the season?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll get you to try and defend it later on in the season. Is that all right?
Of course.
Cool. Good. Okay, yeah, thank you so much for watching. You've been watching the ME7 podcast. Look Back Live, Season 2, Episode 1. As ever, thank you to our sponsors, Danny Construction and Nick from Block, as always. Have a good week. Goodbye.